y'all, welcome to Miss Clark's chemistry class. This is the 5th lesson in a series of lessons about nuclear chemistry. I have previous lessons on alpha decay, beta decay, electron capture. In this lesson, we're talking about positron emissions. Positron, what is that? Well, go get your notes, get your periodic table, and let's get started, and I'll tell you all about it. So let's first talk about why a nucleus would undergo positron decay. Now remember, all nuclei are going through decay because the nucleus is unstable. And it's unstable because it's either too big or because the ratio of neutrons to protons is not where it's stable. If the protons and neutron numbers are way different from each other and that ratio just doesn't fit just so, then a nucleus can become unstable. And remember, nuclei can undergo changes within itself, and that's what nuclear chemistry is. So more specifically, positrons. A nucleus is going to undergo positron decay when there are too many protons. So what do you think is going to happen when there's too many protons? A proton is going to change into a neutron. So if we have a proton, we have too many of them, we can break that down into a neutron and a positron. Protons are positive, so if we are going to put a neutron that's neutral with something, we got to have something that's giving that proton its plus charge. That's the positron. The positron, I'm going to come back and talk a little bit more about this, but when you see me write the symbol, you're going to be like, wait a minute. A positron symbol has 0 mass, it has a charge of +1, but since a positron is the same mass as an electron, we go ahead and put that little E there. The difference is that +1 instead of a -1. This +1 makes this symbol a positron symbol. Positron. Now, a positron is kind of like an anti-electron. Now, a positron has no mass. It has a charge of +1, and we say no mass because we say the electron has no mass. I realize that electrons have a tiny amount of mass, but we still say no mass. And so the anti of electrons, like the opposite of electron, not even really opposite, it's literally like anti. In fact, a positron is antimatter. Now, we are not getting very deep into antimatter. I'm just going to say that the antimatter of a positron is used to help glue the nucleus together. So the antimatter of a nucleus helps stabilize the nucleus. So when an element undergoes positron decay, we're going to kick out a positron. Now remember, a positron is the 0 because it has no mass, +1 because it's positive. But since it has the same mass of an electron, we go ahead and use that E symbol. So we've kicked out our positron, and then we're going to have some new element. Now, that new element is going to have 1 less proton, because a proton is turning into a neutron. And since the proton turned into the neutron, we are going to have 1 more neutron. So if we're just making an exchange between protons and neutrons, that is going to show no mass change. Now, I know I've kind of talked a lot, so let's make sure we've got all that information. A positron, we call it an anti-electron. Here is its symbol again. This occurs when a proton changes into a neutron. Positrons are used a lot in medical diagnostics. Have you ever heard of a PET scan? Not a CAT scan, but a PET scan. That P, positron. So PET, P-E-T, P stands for positron, E stands for emission, T stands for tomography. Okay, so let's look at oxygen 15. Let's remember, we're going to write protons like this. We're going to write neutrons like this. We're going to write electrons. Well, you know what? Positron, we're not even going to deal with electrons. We're going to deal with positrons. So let's go ahead and just write the positron symbol. And remember, positron decay, this is when we have a proton decaying into a neutron and shoots out a positron. Let's count protons and neutrons, the first problem, just like we've done in the previous lessons. Oxygen is going to have 8 protons. If we subtract, we can see how many neutrons. Now we know that a positron is getting kicked out. So let's go ahead and kick it out. And when that happens, let's see what happens to our protons and neutrons. So our protons, remember, a proton is turning into a neutron, so we're losing a proton. So we're going to have 7 protons. And since a proton is turning into a neutron, we're going to go up in neutrons, so we're going to have 8 neutrons. So if we're going to write that symbol, we need to first look and see what number 7 is. Number 7 is nitrogen. That's atomic number 7. Its mass number is 7 plus 8, 15. That mass number is not going to change when we have protons and neutrons turning into each other because protons are a part of the mass number and neutrons are a part of the mass number. They have the same mass. So in this example, we had 8 protons and 7 neutrons for a mass number of 15. Over here on the product side, we had 7 protons and 8 neutrons. Again, 7 and 8 for that 15. So it's really important to understand what's happening in each type of decay so you know whether your proton number is increasing or decreasing and your neutron number is increasing or decreasing. Let's try an example where we don't count out all the protons and neutrons. Again, I want you to figure out what we started with. Kind of doing the same process with each lesson on each of these types of decay. So let's write our little note up here. We have a proton. It's decomposing into a neutron and it's shooting out a positron. So since a proton turned into a neutron, if we're looking at this proton number, we have 18. We lost a proton. So this original element should have one more proton because its proton turned into a neutron, decreasing it to 18. So one more than 18, we would have 19. Since a proton is turning into a neutron, that does not change our mass number, so we still have 38. Now we just need to look at the periodic table at number 19, and that is potassium. So potassium 38, after going through positron decay, decays into argon 38 and shoots out a positron. I want you to pause this, work this one on your own, and then come back. Okay, so we started with thorium 232. We're going to shoot out a positron. For positron decay, our atomic number is going to decrease by 1. Our mass number stays the same because a proton turned into a neutron, mass stays the same. Let's look at number 89 on the periodic table, and that is actinium. So thorium 232, after going through positron decay, decays into actinium 232. Last example. Again, pause this, see what the reactant was. Okay, so positron, we know that a proton turned into a neutron, so we must have had one more proton on the reactant side. So that means we should have 6. When a proton turns into a neutron, it does not change the mass number because protons and neutrons have the same mass. We look at the periodic table, number 6 is carbon. So when carbon 11 goes through positron decay, it decays into boron 11 and emits that high energy positron. Positrons. Who would have known that there's a particle as small as the electron, but with a positive charge that we call a positron? Do you need to know how to calculate using half-life? I have that coming up in a future lesson. Until next time, bye y'all.